The Comedy Grinder! Streaming live worldwide from the First Church of Cannabis. Tonight, Sam Wright, Jeremy Arroyo, Anthony Rasick, Ray Price, Jerry Goebel. Tonight's episode,
Nerdcore.
Days of Rage.
Welcome everyone to the First Church of Cannabis. Welcome everyone to the Comedy Grinder. We would like to remind you now to please silence your digital devices. And then we can start bringing comedians on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, our first comedian of the evening, Mr. Jeremy Arroyo.
Hello. I've had the feeling there's something wrong with me recently. For example, I have 11 toes. Everyone keeps saying that's a weird thing to collect. My neighbor's dog won't stop barking. My apartment has really thin walls and I just hate it. So I'll probably have to give it back. I saw a sign on the way here for a lost pet. And that's really sad to see. Someone had lost their dog. Different dog. But I hate seeing that. So if you see one, make the world a better place and do what I do and just take it down. I was told I need to watch what I eat. So I went to the zoo. I want to get really fat and open a lamp store and call it Cellulite. No, I don't. I always wished that my middle name was cool, like LLJ's. I fucked that one up. I had a fake ID in high school. Not to drink, I just hated who I was. 99 bottles of beer on the wall. Get them in the fridge. They're no good up there. I took a double dose of sleeping pills last night. I just wanted to last longer in bed. It worked. I shouldn't joke about drugs, though. I have a friend who had to quit his dream of becoming a professional wrestler because of his heroin addiction. He could just never lay the smack down. It really sucks to see someone wrestle with addiction. You're right. If you ever need to find a needle in a haystack, hire a junkie. If a cop pulls over a U-Haul, he's just trying to bust a move. I love getting a good deal. I just ordered a knockoff cheap smartphone from Mexico. It's an ay phone. My cousin, he hates that joke. He just told us he's going to Yale for 4 years. But unfortunately, with his accent, that's how he pronounces jail. I'm going to Yale, please visit. Like, no way, Jose. My little brother actually just got out of prison. He did time in the pokey, and he turned himself around. That's what correctional facilities are all about. My little brother, he actually turned himself in for torturing animals. It's horrible. We're just glad he finally let the cat out of the bag. My sister ate all the stuff inside of the vacuum. Didn't survive. She bit the dust. We grew up with a stay-at-home dad. It was terribly embarrassing. We got made fun of. Whenever we'd have a Little League game, like school recital or graduation, he'd stay at home and make fun of us. I guess that's more sad. I had a terrible near-death experience yesterday. I had to visit my grandparents. My poor grandma just got kicked out of her knitting group. They caught her sharing needles. Doesn't even make sense. She started a new knitting group. It's got a couple members. They knit hats and scarves and blankets for people entering the witness protection program. The group is called Snitches Get Stitches. I got a text from my grandma. She texts, that's pretty cool. And not often, but she said, "Your mom pooped her pants." I thought it was hilarious. I sent back, "What, really?" She said, "Oops, that was meant for your mom." My grandma just told us that she's not going to walk with her cane anymore. She must be tripping. My grandpa's in a little bit of trouble. He just got caught stealing Viagra, got arrested. He actually escaped custody and is still at large. He's looking at hard time. The new meaning to jailhouse rock. Jailhouse cock. Too far. We don't know what to do about my uncle. My uncle just told us all that he loves to smoke a fatty. You guys might think there's nothing wrong with that. But he works at a crematorium. My uncle, he's got a few skeletons in his closet. He forgot he was punishing my cousins. Growing up, his wife, my aunt, was terribly mean to me. I hated her. And now that I'm older, I hate to see her slowly killing herself. So I always watch the tape at full speed. Showbiz is rough. Sorry. You might not know it, but Dick Van Dyke had a cousin who wanted to be an actor, but could never get work because of his name, Cock Car Lesbian. I love cinema. I love foreign movies. I'm just surprised more Asian films don't have happy endings. Believe it or not, I'm married. Thank you. The in-laws didn't clap. I hate that my wife always steals the covers. She just got us banned from Holiday Inn. She does a lot of wacky stuff. She just tried fake nails. Everything she hung fell down. Tries a bunch of stuff I try to warn her not to. She just tried the hair dye just for men on her pubic hair. Warned her not to. And sure enough, she grew a penis. It's not true. Lucky for me though, she buys her panties one at a time. Better than getting them in a bunch. She's pretty mad at her doctor. Her doctor told her that she needs to stop using lemon-scented douche products. And she's just been so mad at him. What a sourpuss. I'll cut that one. We got into a pretty huge argument last night. She really had to stick up her ass. I kept saying, that's the wrong way to use a pregnancy test. She's really mad at me. She usually comes to these things, and she didn't come tonight because I put foil in the microwave. It's such a terrible name for a hamster. If done correctly, there's no such thing as dry humping. Guys, always remember, use private browsing when browsing privates. My wife asked if I think of her every time I masturbate. Honesty is the key to marriage, so I told her the truth. But I think of her every time. And that's the truth, because I have to know where she is so I don't get caught. She caught me last week. She said, "You know, you don't have to do that." I said, "It's my pleasure." If love is a battlefield, masturbation is a civil war. I actually just found out my wife won't have sex with me during her period because that's when she masturbates. I caught her red-handed. That's it for me. Thanks, guys.
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, keep it going for Jeremy Arroyo. All right, we're just going to keep things rolling right along as we like to do here at the First Church of Cannabis. Please welcome to the stage our next comedian of the evening, Mr. Sam Wright.
Just a second. Okay. I apologize. I had to check Facebook there because you get stuff on Facebook and everything, and everything you read on Facebook's true. We know that. It's just like the other day I was reading something about, I can't remember his name. He had a TV show, and to do that, yeah, Donald Trump is running for president. Yeah, right. We all know that. That's, you can't believe it. But one thing I seen the other day is that this clown thing. These clowns, I guess they're going out and scaring people and doing this. Well, one thing about me, I'm a professional clown. Because once you get paid for it, you're professional. It's just, like a female. She goes out, gives up the ass, she's just a whore. But if she gets $1, then she's a prostitute and she's a professional. But I'm a professional clown, and I do that. And where these clowns are going out and doing this, I don't understand why they do that, because they take away from what we are as professional clowns, because we just like to make people smile and laugh and do things like that. They're going out and scaring people. I guess what the generations maybe for the last 30 years have done with their kids, because when I do clown, people are a little apprehensive of me and they won't come up, and I understand that. But I guess if I look at it how it is, this is what parents must have done the last 30 years to their kids. Let's watch a movie, Billy. Okay, Mommy. Well, we got Thomas here, we got Barney. Oh, here's It. This is a good movie. It's about a clown. Okay, let's watch that. They put the movie in. 2 hours later, this kid is covered in piss and shit and knows a clown named Pennywise. He's scared, wants to go to bed, gets in bed, and what's this loving parent do? Reading a bedtime story. That's nice. That's what parents do. Reads him a bedtime story. It's not Goldilocks. It's not the Three Little Pigs. It's the fucking headlines of John Wayne Gacy from 73 to 78 and the 33 kids that he killed being Pogo the Clown and what he done. This kid can't sleep. Mommy, I can't sleep. Well, tomorrow we're going to the circus and see Sambo. The next day, the kid walks in, sees me. Jesus Christ, he goes running and everything else. I can't understand why he's so scared. Maybe that's the reason for all of this. It just goes. But I hate because I can't go out right now. If I would dress up as a clown and go out, my God, I could probably get killed with all the idiots out there. I read all this stuff, not to bother me. But here's just a few of the comments. I mean, you go on these social media sites and you read them, and this is just a couple of comments that I want to go over. I got a gun. I'll kill that SOB if he come around my house. Apparently that's from West Virginia or Kentucky, I'm not sure. The next one. I got a box of silver bullets to kill clowns. No, you don't there, buddy. That's werewolves. The next one, and you get, and this is the last one. I'll drive a stake through his goddamn heart and throw garlic on him. Well, shit, we know that's vampires. So these people really don't know what they're hunting. But like I said, I go out and I got to protect myself. I do. I got to take care of myself. So I'm thinking, Sam, what protection can you have if you go out? And I'm like, I got it. I got it figured out. I'm going to take what I learned as a clown and apply it to help myself and to protect myself. Now I have a lot of women say to me, hey Sam, is that a balloon pump in your pants or are you just glad to see me? Well, it's a balloon pump. So, it was. So what I can do to protect myself is this right here. Because you have to have protection. Now, a lot of women, they like this. They'll say, how big is it? And I'll come out, and usually it goes like that. But see, I come out, and I can protect myself this way with my clown skills. I take it, and I do this. And with just this one simple thing, people hate that. I can defend myself with my clown sword. I can do it. Don't come after me. There you go, Megan. Take that. But there's one other thing here that I just want to show you that I protect myself with, and not a bad balloon. So we take, but this is one other thing that I could possibly use just to protect myself. And this is something, a lot of people have this around their house. They do, and they don't realize how it protects them and to do this. But this is one right here, and it's something I think that'll take care of me along with my sword. Because the sword will work, but what if the sword gets knocked out of your hands and you need something else to protect you? I got my guard dog. So, all you people wanting to come after me, remember, by God, Sam has a sword and a guard dog. Bring them silver bullets. I'm off my clown rant. But where we talk about people being scared, and I hear people talk about ghosts and everything. I've worked on the railroad for about 20 years, but prior to that, in West Virginia, where I'm originally from, I was a caretaker of a 200-acre cemetery. And I lived right in the middle of that thing. Right in the middle of it for 5 years. Now that story goes over really good when I tell my black friends that. Because what I usually hear is, "Oh, no, you didn't." I'm like, "Yeah, I did." "Oh, no, you didn't. You're lying." I'm like, why would I lie about living in a cemetery? I mean, I might lie about the size of my penis, but not living in a cemetery. But my 5 years that I lived there, I smoked a lot of. So with that, and people that have smoked it, they understand that you might look at stuff a little bit different. And I would go out and walk around that cemetery, and not one time in 5 years did I ever see a ghost or anything else. I didn't even hear anything. It was the best, most relaxed place in the world. So all these ghost hunters and stuff, I can't understand them. You know, they all get scared, they want to go do that. But there's nothing out there, people. Please believe me. And hell, I didn't even see any clowns in the cemetery. But speaking of West Virginia, I was back there, Labor Day weekend. Big family reunion. Hell, it was the 80th. And that's how long. Hell, my mom had 21 brothers and sisters. And no, my grandma wasn't. No, my grandfather brought 10 kids. They had 11. But still, she liked to fuck. But I had a cousin of mine, Michelle. And one thing about Michelle is she's probably about 10 years younger than me, but when she was younger, she was a stripper. And we all have strippers in our family. Hell, if you don't, I don't know what kind of family you have. Now, Michelle, she couldn't really work a brass pole too well. Lap dances, she had one leg shorter than another from, I think, polio or something. But she would fall on guys. But one thing she could do, and this was her special talent, she could lay down and take 3 ping pong balls, put up in her snatch, and shoot 10 feet into a red Solo cup. It was amazing. What's truly amazing is that girl could play the hell out of beer pong. I told that joke a while back, and afterwards a guy came up and said, "Yeah, you're from West Virginia. I bet you screwed your cousin that done that." I'm like, no, listen here, Billy Bob. If you would have studied American history, you would have known that in Kentucky, they screw their cousins. In West Virginia, we screw our sisters. My dad, he died 1996, but he used to say some screwed up things. And one thing he told me when I was a young kid, he said, "Sam, you're no good piece of shit." But that's not the joke. He says, "Boy, when you're driving a nail in, if you bend it, it means your pecker's growing." I'm like 12 years old at that time. So I remember that, and I go into high school, and I take 4 years of shop class thinking I'll get to drive a lot of nails, and maybe it'll help me out. But I got more proficient in driving nails. So I went into service in 1984 with the same size penis I had when I was 12. And after a couple days, we had open showers at that time. There wasn't no privacy or anything. And I was in the shower, and I was showering, and I just turned around to wrench my back. And I looked over, and I learned a very, very valuable lesson. Apparently, black guys cannot drive a nail straight. I went to the doctor a couple weeks ago to get a physical, and some of you might not know if you're younger that when you come up, you go to the doctor physicals, and he'll come in, he'll check you for a hernia and places his fingers up there in your balls and feels, and you cough. Well, then that works to about 39 years old, and then he checks you for a hernia, and you go to pull your pants up, and he says, turn around and put your elbows on the table. You're like, okay. Soon as you do that, he sticks his finger in your ass. That's at 40. So after 10 years of getting that, I go to a physical. I just turned 50. He does that. I'm good. He says, Sam, you need to sit down. I got to tell you something. I'm like, what's that? Do I have cancer? He's like, no, you're 50. You have to have a colonoscopy now. I'm like, what's that? He says, well, what we do is we take a 6-foot hose with a camera and stick up your rectum to look for polyps. I'm like, that might hurt. Don't worry about that. We give you a sedation drug to where you're still conscious and awake, but you won't remember anything when we do it. I'm like, hold on, doctor. I believe I seen a story about a comedian named Bill Cosby that was sedating women and sticking a big black hose in them, and he got in trouble. And furthermore, if Hannibal Buress gets a hold of this story, your career's over. Bad part, I told the doctor that. A lot of people that does comedy, I know Jeremy was up here earlier, and I've talked to him and to do things, and we have significant others, whether it's a girlfriend or a wife, and a lot of times when we do comedy with them and we try to work jokes out on them, it just don't work because they don't understand it. That's my wife. She has the sense of humor of that candle. I mean, she goes, I dearly love her, but I'll try a joke out on her. If she says it's stupid or dumb, you're going to see it on stage. About a week and a half ago, I'm laying there on the couch and we're watching TV. How we're old, it was probably Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy before 8 o'clock and we got our ice cream, I don't know. And I turn over to her and I tell her this joke. She just glares at me and says, that's stupid. I'm like, I'm going to write that son of a bitch down. So I go in the bedroom, I get a shower. I get out of the shower and I'm drying off. And I'm like, I'm going to try this. So I take a foam clown nose. I was a clown if you caught that earlier. And I put it on, completely naked. I run out in front of her. She's sitting there and I go, "Brr!" She's like, what the fuck? I'm like, "Woo!" She's like, that's stupid. I said, that's the other one. I'm going to go down and do a mic next week. I'm either doing the joke or that. It's your call. Well, after 25 years of marriage, you compromise. What's the difference between a boy from West Virginia and Indiana? Well, a boy from Indiana bends a girl over the bed, walks up, and sticks it in. A guy from West Virginia bends a girl over the bed, sticks it in, and then walks up. Thank you. That's my time.
Oh, yeah. Keep it going for Sam Wright. Come on, guys. All right. Next up to the stage as we keep things rolling right along here. He's a veteran to the comedy grinder, but please still make him welcome to the stage, Mr. Anthony Rasick.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Great to be back here. I love you guys. My name is Anthony Rasick, and I'm bipolar. I'm bipolar. It's hard to tell people you're bipolar without them looking at you like you're crazy. You know, like you guys are looking at me now. It's okay. I'm on my meds. I'm not armed. You're all safe. Unless you don't laugh. What did I just say? Now, I got diagnosed bipolar when I was 24. Because I started crying during a Bob Seger song. Like, not one of the sad ones. So that's not right. I should get that checked out. So I went to the shrink, and they don't like to be called that. But he was really nice, super professional. Went into the office, and came in. He's like, all right, I'm going to do a questionnaire, see if we can figure this out. I was like, all right, man, sounds good. He's like, okay, question 1. Have you ever been really happy? I was like, yeah, definitely have. All right. Question 2, have you ever been really sad? Yeah, definitely have. All right, sounds like you're bipolar to me. Get your meds, go down to the nurse. She'll have them for you. What? Wait a minute, that's it? Like, are you sure I just don't have emotions? It's like, no, your emotions they're too strong. They're way too strong. I was like, well, how do you know your emotions just aren't weak? What if that's the case? He's like, well, you did start crying during a Bob Seger song, and not one of the sad ones. Touche, doctor, all right. So I went down to the nurse to get my meds, and prescribing meds for a mental disorder is like firefighters showing up to a fire, but not knowing if they have water or gasoline in the tank, and still being like, fuck it, let's see what happens. Sometimes it's fine, it's perfect, and other times it goes terribly wrong. So I get to the nurse, and she says, like, did the doctor tell you anything about your meds? And I was like, I don't even know what I'm taking. So she tells me, and she's like, here are the side effects, and she starts listing off, and I'll spare you the details. But like the highlights are insomnia and drowsiness. So I'm always tired, but I can never sleep. It's terrible. And then the other one is this rash, and she's like, all right, now, you might get a rash. You probably won't. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal if you do. You just stop taking your meds or you'll die. But just don't worry about it. It's nothing. I was like, whoa, wait, back up. That sounds like something I should worry about. She's like, oh no, it's not a big deal. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. So I started taking my meds. Then I got this rash, and I call. And I was like, yeah, I got this rash in my arm. She's like, have you ever been camping, hiking, all this stuff, narrowing it down. I was like, no, she's like, okay, well, don't worry. Don't freak out. You're going to be okay. Just don't worry. You're going to be fine. It's okay. Don't worry. And I was like, lady, I'm not freaking out. She's like, I know, it's okay. Just calm down. Just be fine. And I was starting to get freaked out because she was so freaked out. I was like, should I be this freaked out? Like, why? Is this a big deal? So just stop taking your pills or you'll die, but you'll be fine. And it's just a once a day thing. I wasn't standing there with the pills in one hand and the phone in the other. Should I just take more? Is that going to help? I don't want to be the first guy to die from a rash. What happened to Anthony? Oh, he got this terrible rash and he itched himself to death. Well, why didn't he stop? It was that bad. It was. I don't want that on my tombstone, You don't want that on your tombstone. You want pepperoni. Yeah, that's a terrible joke. I love it, though. Yeah. I know, so I was at Kroger getting donuts for breakfast this morning. I was going through the U-Scan, to hide my shame. Because I only got one. The U-Scan thought I only got one, but I got a dozen, because if you're not ripping off the U-Scan, you're not living life right. It's just facts. But then the U-Scan lady came up and she was like, excuse me, sir, would you like to donate $1 to diabetes research and help fund diabetes? I was like, no, it's okay, I don't need that. I'm good. It's fine. She looked at the donuts and she looked back at me. She's like, that's a bit short-sighted, don't you think? It's like, touche, U-Scan lady, here's your $1. Now fuck off, all right? I don't need your guilt. I'm fat, I'm a pothead, it's not my fault. It is my fault. It's totally my fault. But I know I'm a pothead because the smell of dead skunk doesn't gross me out anymore. It doesn't. Figured this out. I was coming back from Denver with my buddy Jason. Like we came to a spot in the road where somebody had hit a skunk, and like the smell like engulfs the whole road, you know. And he's like, "Oh, somebody hit a skunk." And I was like, It smells like Kush. All right. So I got a pet skunk to like live in my car, you know. So I'm out on a roadie, and I get pulled over, and the cops are like, "What's that smell?" I could be like, "Why, officer, that's my pet skunk. It's my emotional support animal. Like I have to take him everywhere, or I just freak out. I can't help it. And he's got glaucoma, so like everything's fine here. Just nothing to worry about." Yeah. So my name's Anthony Rasick. My last name sounds a lot like Anthony Racist. You know, I've been hearing that my entire life. So I grew up in a small redneck town. And people would either say it to me one of two ways. Be like, "Haha, Anthony Racist, that's hilarious." Or they'd be like, "Anthony Racist, that's a good name. What is that, German?" Like, no, I have to no, it's Serbian. I have to like explain where Serbia was. It's a country and like, this whole history thing. It's ridiculous. And they're just like, "Oh, you're some kind of fucking commie?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, if you want to be technical about it, my grandparents were, whatever, but you know, we're Americans." It's weird to be from a town so racist that I was white and also a minority. That doesn't make sense. It was very confusing growing up. Because we were the weird foreign people. My grandfather came over to World War II, barely spoke any English, you know. Like he knew some words, like some bitch and shit, you know, the essentials. But yeah, that was pretty much it. It was when I was a freshman in high school, this senior girl, oh, God bless her, she thought I was a foreign exchange student. I swear to God, this is a true story. I was sitting in study hall, and she came up, and she was knockout. Like, I was shocked. I was like, "What the hell's going on? Like, why is she talking? Why is she going to just talk to me?" Like, I was so confused. But, so she came up to talk to me, and, sorry, dry mouth. You know how it goes. She said, "Is your family foreign?" I said, "Yes. Yes, they are." She's like, "Oh my God, that's awesome. What's it like?" And I started telling her all the stuff my grandparents told me about Serbia. You know? She's like, "Oh, it sounds beautiful." I was like, I bet it is. Mm-hmm. And it was cool. It was cool after that. She was really interested. I was like her pet foreign friend. You know, she wanted to take me around, like show me American stuff, like the movies, like the mall 2 towns over, McDonald's, her titties. Yeah, you can call me a scumbag, but you gotta take opportunities when they're presented, right? You know? And she was starting to get serious too. Like it was like a week. I kept this ruse up until we were at the football game. We were walking around holding hands and shit. You know, it was serious. And her friend stops us, and she looks at her and she's like, "What are you doing with him?" And she was like, "What? He's a foreign exchange student. It's so cool." Blah, blah, blah. And her friend was like, "No, he's not. That's Anthony Racist. I went to kindergarten with him." And she looked at me, she's like, "How could you lie to me like that?" I was like, "Well, technically I didn't. You just asked the wrong questions. Not my fault." Later that year, as a senior prank, she like set some of the props in the theater prop room on fire. So, you know, trusting me wasn't the worst decision she made that year. You know? She was a winner. I don't know what it says. Oh. So, for the longest time, like my dad worked construction, and I used to think that construction workers like had to fight snakes all day. Like there was some just massive snake problem on construction sites that we were not addressing. Because my dad would get home from work and he'd go right to the fridge and he'd open it and take a big pull out of his snake bite medicine. And then I got older and I learned what tequila was. And my father was just a very clever alcoholic. But he never got bit by a snake. So, I don't know. Maybe it works. Just saying, you know, it's possible. My dad chose booze over a lot of things, you know, like our family. No, it's okay. You can laugh at my pain. One time our toilet broke. and he didn't have the money to get it fixed. So we had to pee outside and then shit in Kroger bags that we put in the toilet. Like the handles just loop right over the horseshoe. Like it was made for that. It's amazing. And then you just take that out and throw it in the trash, you know? And that lasted for like a week until my dad like got in a fight with the trash company, which I can only assume meant they were like, look, we're not going to pick up your shit barrel anymore. Use the toilet like normal people. What's wrong with you? But that didn't really stop him. He was not deterred. He's like, no, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this trash can down to the dumpster at the grocery store across the street and just throw it in there. And then that lasted for like another week, and they had a real bad E. coli outbreak and like had to shut down. I felt bad. Finally, my dad was like, all right, we've done enough damage. I'll fix the toilet. It turned out the water was off. Just, yeah. You know, plumbing's tricky. It is. It's tricky. You ever worry you're going to wake up from a coma into an even shittier life? Is that just me? Like, it's a real fear. It really is. Because when I was 12, we were at a company picnic at my dad's boss's house, and I fell out of this tree house onto like a 5-gallon bucket right on my neck. Like the bucket snapped over my head like a goddamn cartoon. And I was freaking out, you know, I was really upset. And my parents come running over and they like rip the bucket off my head because, you know, fuck spinal injuries. And, but I was fine. Like I got up, walked it off, you know, I was fine. But what if that's when I went into the coma? You know? And all this is just in my imagination. It's possible. Freaks me out. Told this to my buddy Jeff, he got pissed. He's like, what, so this is all your imagination? I was like, I don't know, man, maybe. He's like, well, if that's true, make me do something. I was like, I don't think it works like that, really. I don't know. He's like, oh, it doesn't work like that. I'm like, man, whatever. Just, can I have a glass of water? And he just got up and like walked over, brought me a glass of water, and I was like, oh my God, I'm in a coma. Fuck, I need to wake up. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm still in a coma. It's kind of scary. You guys know what porn sites and sex partners have in common? If you pick the wrong one, you might catch a virus. It's a true story. I drive past this hospital on my way home from work, and they put the like newborn babies on names on the sign that are born that day. You know, it's all adorable and kind of sad. It's like some of those names you see them, and you just know like that's the nicest sign that kid's name's ever gonna be on. You know, I hate to sound like a dick, but you just know. Like you see them and you just know. Like I saw one the other day. It was Chevron Wyatt. What kind of ignorant asshole names their kid after a fucking gas station? Seriously. Like, can you imagine meeting these people? Like, what they must be like? Like, oh, this here's little baby Chevron. We named him after where he worked conceived. Bobby Sue was working over at the Shell, and I needed smokes. So I went down there and started chatting her up. Turned out she had some meth. So we went out back behind a dumpster and smoked. And then made one thing led to another. And made sweet love in the moonlight. It was beautiful. I wanted to name him Chevron Matthew. But Wyatt's her daddy's name, and since he was her first, we figured it was only right. Incest joke hit a little too close to home for you guys, huh? It's okay. Don't feel bad. It's Indiana. You'll have that. I went to China a few years ago. That was fucking awesome. I highly recommend it. If you ever get the chance, you should go to China. China's a lot like America in the 50s, just full of Chinese people. You know, it really is. Like, people still smoke cigarettes everywhere, like planes, trains, buses, hospitals. They don't give a fuck. They don't know what weed smells like, but it is like punishable by death, so it's kind of one of those, you know, you might risk it. And they are super racist. Like super racist. But they say they're not. They claim they're not racist. Like, oh, no. A friend was telling me, he's like, no. They say Chinese, they're not racist. Just Chinese culture, you know, favors pale skin over dark skin, because if you have darker skin, you're like a lowly field worker. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what racism is. Yeah, that sounds exactly like racism. You should trust me, I'm white. I know things. But they're super nice people, though. They really are. We flew into Shanghai. This is my buddy Zach, and like I don't speak Mandarin. He does, but we didn't. So he did a lot of asking for directions and stuff. And we asked this random Chinese guy for directions and like give him this piece of paper with our address on it. And like he looks at it and he's like, nigga, 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 nigga. And he like rattles off a bunch of shit in Mandarin. Zach's like, oh, thanks. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, dude, why is this guy dropping N-bombs? Like, he's YG. Like, what's going on here? He's like, oh, no, that's the Chinese word for I was like, what? He's like, oh, yeah, it is. Look it up. And I did. And it is. Yeah. Rap music must confuse the shit out of them. You know? It's not hard. You know? I ride from my I die from my That dude's not gangster. He doesn't know who he's riding or dying for. It just sounds confused. It's like, my You're what, dude? What are you talking about, man? Make up your mind. It's confusing. We didn't just stay in Shanghai, though. We went all over the country. It's beautiful. Went to this place in the mountains called Ping An Village. There are these like terraced rice fields. They're like cut into the mountain. It's gorgeous. The only thing they have there, though, are what they call the long-haired women, because that's their only job, is just not cut their hair. Then they want to charge you like $20 for a picture. I wasn't having it. I was like, look, lady, I got bikers in my family. Your long hair does not impress me. Nope. She was real persistent about it. She kept following us around the village, like, take a picture, take a picture. I was like, I finally got pissed off, and I was like, look, lady, how many big fat white guys do you see on top of this mountain on a regular basis? You should want to take a picture with me. She's like, oh, yes, you're very big, ha, ha, ha. And she like walked over and patted me on the stomach and looked at my buddy Jason and goes, is yours? Yeah. I've never wanted to throw somebody off a mountain more in my entire life. Like, she could barely speak English. She's making fat jokes. It's ridiculous. I didn't, though. I did the American thing, and I outsourced that job to her friend. Gave her $10. It's fine. It's the American way. But that's just really, it stuck with me, though. It really did. It freaked me out. Like, so when I got back from China, I joined a gym. I joined Planet Fitness. Mostly because it's cheap, you know. Also because they market themselves as a judgment-free zone. And that's what I want from a gym, you know. I don't get judged at the gym. When I get done with my workout, and I just start shoveling pizza down my throat. You can totally do that there. The first Monday of every month, they have free pizza night. Which is either like a dirty trick to retain membership or a great test of willpower that I consistently fail. I mean, you show me a fat stoner that can resist a free pizza buffet, and I will show you a liar. It's true. I haven't been in a while, if you couldn't tell. Because last time I was there, I got pretty freaked out. Like, I was on the treadmill, like trying to jog, you know. And I've been on it for like, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. And like all of a sudden, it started to smell like somebody put a bucket of like extra tasty, crispy fried chicken, like right in front of my treadmill. And the smell was just like blowing in my face. Like I thought I was having a stroke. Or like, cause I've had lots of hallucinations before from drugs, but I've never smelled something that wasn't there. So like I was really starting to freak out and like question my reality. Thought I might be having a stroke. I was gonna die. And, like I was freaking out. It was bad. And I wanted to ask the chick next to me if like she smelled it too, but she was black and I don't want to seem like a bigot. So I just left, chalked it up to a bad acid flashback. You know, 'cause I'd rather be fat than accidentally racist. You gotta watch out for those things. On the bright side of that, though, I read an article that said women said they're more attracted to overweight guys now, so they feel like they're more inclined to receive oral sex, which is 100% true. I love to eat pussy. Fat guys love to eat pussy for the same reason fat chicks love to suck dick. We have to. If we're not going to work out, we got to bring something else to the table, right? But I'm terrified of suffocation. Like, it's a problem. Because, like, sometimes, you know, you're doing a good job. Sometimes her legs snap shut like a bear trap. And then I start freaking out and screaming. And then but it makes it just, the vibration just makes it feel better. So I gotta like pray she has an orgasm before I suffocate and die. It's terrifying. So I invented the pussy snorkel. It's really easy. What you do is you just take the tube off your grandfather's emphysema tank, and just put that up there around your neck. You're good to go all night. Go down, come up looking like a glazed donut. Nope, that was too far. It's true. Yeah. So it's been kind of a weird, rough month for me. I got thrown out of my house a few weeks ago. That sucked. So I'm single now. Remember the last joke? Yeah. It was crazy. Things have been rocky for a while. This is for the best, but it did not end well. It didn't. It was rough. Like I just worked what happened was I worked like 16 hours and then went and did a podcast and then got home. It was like 3 a.m. and the ex-girlfriend was up, drunk, angry. Just like, when you see somebody's face and they're just like, you can tell they're just waiting to yell at you. Like that's what I was looking with. That's what I was dealing with. And so I started to get undressed, get ready for bed. And I look over on the couch and I see that the dog had like torn up one of the 50 couch pillows that we have or had. And I was like, oh, the dog got the pillow. That sucks. She's like, what? I'm like, oh, the pillow. That sucks. She's like, oh, I didn't notice. I was like, yeah, you don't notice things. And that was the end of me. She started yelling and screaming, you motherfucking piece of shit, mother, get the fuck out. Going off, going crazy. And yeah, so I was just like, no, look, it's fine. We can just, let's go to bed. You can scream at me tomorrow when you're sober. It'll be all right. And she's just going off and off. So I took all my stuff out of my pockets and set it on the nightstand. I go to take my shoes off and put them in the thing. She grabs my phone and she just chucks it out the door. I was like, fuck, I got to go get that. And as soon as I do, she's going to slam that door and lock me out. And sure as shit, she did. Yeah. So I'm standing out there, and I'm like, fuck, I need my stuff. I'm barefoot. All I have is my phone. It's like, well, but I'm trying to be peaceful. I don't want to cause any drama. It's 3 a.m. Neighbors are asleep. I don't want the cops called. Because, like being a man in a domestic disturbance call is like being a black guy anywhere else in the world. Like, it's just not going to end well. I'm probably going to go to jail. I might get shot. It's rough. So I'm trying to be cool, but I don't have, I'm trying to leave. And I was like, can I have my stuff? She starts throwing stuff out. She throws like my winter coats and stuff. And I was like, it's not even cold out. What are you doing? Then she's like, take your fucking dog too. And I was like, the dog? And the dog comes running out scared. I was like, it's okay, man. We'll find someplace. I got a lot of great friends. And my friend told me to come over to stay with him. And after I left, I felt like I needed a tetanus shot. My other friend was like, hey, man, you can come stay with me if you want. But I didn't want to go, stay with him and his mom. That would have been weird. What if she fell in love with me? I'd be his stepdad. I don't know if I could handle that. It's too much pressure. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. That's the new stuff. It's kind of just more sad than funny. I'm working on that. Yeah. Do you guys go to any festivals this summer? They have a lot of festivals up in Fort Wayne. There's one called Three Rivers Festival. It's kind of like the city fair kind of deal. It's a lot of fun. This year I went with my brother, and we got kind of drunk and stoned before, like you do. And then he wanted to ride rides, and I was like, "Yeah, it's a bad idea, man. I don't need to do that." But he begged me and pleaded me, so I was like, he got me to at least stay in line with him. I was like, "All right, man, I'll stay in line with you. That's I can do that." So we get up to the front of the line, and there's this kid sitting on the step, and he's like pouting. He's upset, and I was like, "What's the matter, kid?" He's like, "Oh, they won't let me ride the ride. I'm not tall enough. They said I need an adult." Oh, he said he wasn't old enough. He needed an adult. I was like, "Oh, well." Started to feel like I was going to do my good deed for the month, and I was like, "I'll be your adult kid. You can ride with me." He got all excited. He's like, "Oh, thanks, mister." Super stoked. And so we're in line, and we get up there, we get on the ride, and it starts going. And about 30 seconds into this ride, I remembered why it was a terrible idea for me to ride this ride. My stomach just starts doing somersaults and stuff, like up and down. I'm just like, ooh, oh God. I'm swallowing hard, like breathing deep, like I'm pregnant. We're gonna make it. You're an adult. You're not gonna throw up on this ride. And the kid can see that I'm struggling, and like he's terrified. And, like he has crawled as far away from me in this car as he can get, like without jumping out of it. He's just like, just looking at me like scared. And I can see that he's scared, and I kind of want to comfort him, console him. So I try to do that. And as I turn to talk to him, I turn to say, don't worry, it's going to be fine. As soon as I open my mouth, I just projectile vomit all over this kid. And I'm like, oh, fuck, you're puking on the kid. So I turned my head because I forgot about physics. And like the puke goes all over me and like people behind us. And like it hits the thing. And the carny hears it and he like hits the emergency stop. And it's so bad. And he comes over and he looks and he's like, what the hell, man? What's going on? I was like, I don't know, dude. This fucking kid just like threw up everywhere. It's gross. I'm leaving. This is nasty. And I just left. And, hopefully that kid learned not to talk to strangers. If that's the way it goes. Yeah. So why did they change the state slogan of Indiana? Do you guys, I don't understand that. Now it used to be Crossroads of America, and now it's like America. Now it's Indiana, a state that works. It sounds like, it's a state that works. It's not great. It works. It's all right. It's terrible. Crossroads was such a better name. It's my campaign for reinstating Crossroads of America. All right, folks, that's the end of my time. So I think that was funny. You should check out my podcast, TheNationTitans.com, on Stitcher and iTunes. Got a lot of great shows. Black Otaku, No Direction with Cody East, Dial Trolls, all kinds of great stuff. Thank you so much, everybody.
All right, keep it going for Anthony Bracek. All right, we are once again going to keep things rolling right along here at the First Church of Cannabis and introduce to the stage our next comedian. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ray Price.
Thank you. Oh, Canada, our home and native land. That's the skinniest maple leaf I've ever seen. Miss you, Otto. Hi, my name is Ray, and I'm not just a comedian. I am a living, breathing drunk test. Or high, if you like. Here's how this works. If you look at me and you think that guy looks like Michael Moore met Stephen King, and then he ate one of them, you're sober. That's what I really look like. Now, on the other hand, if you saw me get up here and you thought, hey, look, it's Janet Reno, I'm not telling you to stop, but you might want to slow down. Because you're getting close to the danger zone, and here's the danger zone. If you turn to your friend and say, I don't know if that's a boy or a girl, but I want to hit it hard, you're drunk, okay? Pour yourself an Uber and go home. Bad things are going to happen to you if you stay out, and I'll probably take you up on your offer. Like I'm some kind of player. I'm no player. I used to be a player. I started carbon dating when I was 16. But you can't be a player when you got a haircut like this. It just doesn't work out. And I try so hard. I want to look nice for everyone, but I walk into Supercuts. I tell the lady, make me look sexy. I walk out with this. Yeah, it's a gay mullet, all right? See what they did? Party in back, plenty for the reach around up front. And every guy knows a bad haircut is like a cock block. This is a beaver dam. None for me, no. And confuses people. It confuses people all the time. I take my wife out to Olive Garden, and the hostess always sits us in the section reserved for chatty lesbians. And the waitress walks over to our table. She goes, what can I do for you, ladies? You can kiss this lady's schlong, all right? And breadsticks. I need more breadsticks. And stop with the stupid question. Yes, I want cheese on my salad. I want cheese on my salad. I want cheese on my breadstick. Heck, I want cheese on my wife's coochie. Because if I'm going to eat something that disagrees with me, it's going to be garnished properly. All right? Parmigiano Reggiano. Mwah! That's Italian. Thanks. All right, that's good. All right. So my name is Ray, and I'm a geek. I've been a geek my whole life. If you ever wonder if you ever see kids playing, and one of them outsources the Indians to run his call center, that's the geek. People don't use that word geek properly. They combine it with things that shouldn't be belonged with. Like I was doing a show, and afterwards this guy comes up and says, "I'm a paintball geek." No, you're not. You're a hillbilly with an atomic water pistol. Another show comes up and a guy says, "I'm a Civil War reenactment geek." I'm like, haha, no, you're just worse at cosplay than I am, all right? Don't even have the sexy girls that got skirts down to here. What's up with that? Another guy comes up and says, "I'm a beer geek." And I'm like, no, you're not. You're drunk again. Go home, Dad. Yeah. People never understood geeks. When I was a kid growing up, my parents never understood me. My parents got me the worst Christmas present you can get a fat geek kid. The worst present. A pair of walkie-talkies. A pair. Yeah, that extra walkie-talkie was as useless as an orthodontist in a meth lab, all right? Had the meanest gym teachers. Oh, they hated me. Oh, I had one, no matter what team I got stuck on, he made us skins. My entire junior high was Red Rover called the boy hiding his boobies over. Let me tell you, I wanted to get even with that gym teacher. I wanted to settle the score. But he left in the middle of the school year. He had to. He thought his house was haunted. He would hear noises like, "Get out," and "Boo," and "Stop watching the kids shower." And that's how you use the extra walkie-talkie. Yeah, see there? Justice, not just a league in DC Comics. All right, yay. That's awesome, yeah. Fun being a geek. All my life I wanted to grow up and be a scientist. But I didn't make it. Turns out I'm just an engineer. That's like growing up and wanting to be a rock star, but it turns out you're just a bass player. So that was a disappointment in my life. So many disappointments. But as an engineer, sometimes I have to go to the parts store to pick up some electronic parts to build something at work. And I was going to this store on a pretty regular basis because we were doing this project. And every time I get to the store, there'd be this older Asian gentleman standing in front of the parts I needed. And I'd have to ask him politely to move out of my way. And this happened 2-3 times in the same week. And finally, the fourth time it happened, he's standing there right in front of the parts I need. And I reach in, I grab the parts I need, and I tell him, "Come on, get in the car, take him back, set him down at the workbench, hand him my schematics, and say, 'Here, build this.' I come back at the end of the day. This old Chinese guy sitting in the chair, beautiful circuit boards, perfect, absolutely better than anything I've ever done. But he's crying. I'm like, what's wrong? He said, the seat's uncomfortable, the air smells, I got burned on the soldering iron. You remind me of my childhood in China. I said, there, that's okay. I gave him $1.50 and said, "We'll have more work for you tomorrow. Come on back." He looked at me right in the eyes and he said, "Fuck you. I hope you get cancer and die like my Apple boss man." I looked at him and I say, "I salute you. Today you are an American." I do have a day job where I'm an engineer, and my CEO always likes to give the personal touch. He sent these emails out to everybody. He sent 2 emails out back to back. The first one said, "We're not going to match your 401k this year." And the second email said, "What to do in the event of an active shooter in the workplace." Yeah, that was real important. He put those together, especially for me because I work at home. But But he had great advice. He said, never attempt to reason with a person with a gun. I think that's great advice because, you know, a person with a gun is not going to listen to reason, unless by reason you mean the double-barrel 30-06 that Skeeter Bob nicknamed a priori, the voice of reason, after reading Immanuel Kant's critique on pure reason, surprising everyone who thought Skeeter Bob can't read. Turns out Skeeter Bob reads Kant. And I know that's a long way to go for a joke here at the fresh cut ammunition and live bait shop with cannabis, but I can't help myself. I'm a liberal. I gladly trade my Second Amendment rights for a really good pair of Birkenstocks. I'm so liberal that when the shampoo instructions say apply liberally, I put it in your hair because I'm not keeping all that sudsy goodness to myself. I say spread the lather. That was Bernie's message. Church of the Cannabis. Okay, I got one marijuana joke. Only one marijuana joke. I'm married. I already told you that. I'm a parent too. When my son was 15, get this, I went in his room and I found a bag of pot that he had hidden. Let me tell you, nothing lets you know you're a failure as a parent quite like finding out your kids get better drugs than you do. That bag was gorgeous. It had buds in it the size of that dare pin he wore in his high school jacket. I mean, like, seriously, cocaine, heroin, crystal meth, this shit ruins lives, but come on, this was marijuana. That shit ruins afternoons. I did what I think any good parent would do. I swapped his stash with mine. Yeah, I was still high when the school called to tell me my son had been suspended because he beat up another kid for selling him stems and seeds. See, I don't know what's wrong with kids these days. My parents never found my bag of pot, not once. But my mom did find this handcraft I made out of some soda pop cans in an aquarium to me. And Mom took this object of art and she put it in a place of honor. And for years and years and years, when you walked into my parents' house, the first thing you got to see was my first ever handmade MacGyver bong right there. Oh yeah, my older sisters owned my ass like Oprah owns Housewives. They were like, Ray, do my homework or I'll buy Mom a ticket on the Clue Bus. Ray, wash my car. I'll tell Mom why that soda pop can smells so bad. This went on for years. Finally, I'm married. I'm out of the house. I got kids of my own, but it's Thanksgiving. Let's have a family bonding moment, right? I go like, hey, Mom, you know what that is? You know what that is? She says, sure, that's the best bong you kids ever made. And son, that soda pop can smells awful. You've been smoking the cheap stuff. Get the good stuff. Ask your sisters. They hooked me up. I think they're buying from your son now. And really, can you be a drug dealer if your only customer are your family? I don't think so. I think it's a perfectly fine situation. But I did get married kind of young. My wife and I, we've been married now for 38 years. I'm pausing because that usually gets applause. It's usually the ladies that applaud, and I know they're not applauding for me, they're applauding for my wife. Because 38 years ago, my wife took this off the market. That's right. My wife took one for the team. You ladies are safe now. And guys, come on. If you can't applaud for 38 years of monogamy, the only way you're getting any pussy tonight is if you smear your body in anchovy paste and stand out in the alley going, here, kitty, kitty, kitty. What's a tabby? Come on, tabby. Calico, yeah. They're 97% female, according to that thing on the Red Robin table. But that's fine. I fell in love with my wife when I was 16. She was 16. I was driving, making one of those hard left-hand turns out of nowhere. She says, clear on my side. I'm thinking, this is awesome. I've got a wingman. I've got someone who's going to be there looking out for me. And then our relationship grew. And I suddenly realized it's easier to let her drive than to hear her bitch about how bad my driving was. And I knew we'd be together forever. when I found myself sitting in that passenger seat, looking out that passenger window, hoping an 18-wheel truck would come barreling down on us so I could yell clear on my side. Because long-term relationships aren't like short-term. Short-term relationships are easy to get out. You just do that UFC thing, just tap out. Just, it's not you, it's me. But no, long-term relationships, oh no, that's Thunderdome. 2 go in, 1 comes out. And I got married so young, I was just naive enough to think I was Mad Max and she was Tina Turner. Oh no, she straightened me out real fast. Turns out I was Tina Turner. And she was Ike. Beat the shit out of me every night. 50 Shades of Ray, yeah. People ask me, what's the secret to a long marriage? I tell them it's real simple. Low self-esteem. As long as she's got that. But it makes her mean. She'll punch me whenever she sees a Volkswagen Beetle. But she refuses to do the right thing when she sees a Hummer. It's blue, come on. Anyway. She's mean to me. Told her I want to get on one of the reality shows like Survivor. She says you got a better chance to go out for Biggest Loser. I showed her I went out for Wife Swat. They sent me the Biggest Loser audition. The line was huge. It stretched for miles, and there are just 12 of us. Producers asked me why I should be on their show. I'm like, are you blind? Can you see this up in here? It's like the math department at MIT. Chin, chin, chin. Love being a geek, but it affects my life. There are things that people can enjoy I can't enjoy as a geek. Like that one commercial goes, Mom, Kool-Aid has 1/3 less sugar than soda pop. No, not if you make it right. It's water, Kool-Aid, add sugar till it stops dissolving. Not sweet enough, boil the water. Oh my gosh, you laughed at that. That was a super saturation joke. That's awesome. If you laughed at the super saturation joke and you saw someone not laughing, explain it to the homeschooler. Because the homeschooler is still upset because mom wouldn't go with them to the homeschool prom, so they had to take their Spencer aunt. Oh, don't get me wrong, she was hot, but she was postmenopausal, so it was a dry heat. Back to chemistry. I do chemistry jokes in West Virginia. I get nothing. I'm like, doesn't anybody remember chemistry class? They're like, no. I say, see? That's why your meth labs keep exploding. And they've ruined it for us, haven't they? Oh my gosh, you can't go to the drugstore and get the good cold medicine anymore. What do you got to do? You got to take out your driver's license. You got to give it to the pharmacist, and he runs it through a computer that calls up Netflix to see how many episodes of Breaking Bad you've been watching. People, they took away our right to free and open air passages. It's not right. We should... Well, the gun people, you can't take away rights from the gun people. They don't let you. They would have been picketing you try to take away their rights. Heck, we could have done that. We could have been picketing. Heck, we could have used the gun people's slogans. Just change a few words around. Just go up and down in front of that pharmacy. Antihistamines don't make meth labs. People do. The only thing that can stop a crazy man armed with an infectious virus is a good man armed with disudafenahydrine HCl. They can take my inhaler when they pry it from my cold, dead hands. Jerry liked that one. That's cool. All right. Oh, I told you about my son. Let me tell you about my daughter. My daughter was 16. I took her out driving, teaching the rules of the road. Off in the distance, there's a police siren. She speeds up. I'm like, honey, what are you doing? She says, don't worry, Dad. I learned how to drive playing Grand Theft Auto. When the cop pulls alongside, I'll flash him my tits. You put a cap in his tire. I'm like, honey, what are they teaching you kids these days? We're in a hybrid. They'll catch us for sure. My car is a hybrid. It's got a gasoline motor and an electric motor. It's like the Olsen twins. One engine's clean and highly desirable. The other just spits up nasty shit. I love driving, but they're ruining it. They got advertising everywhere you go. Like on my way up here, I got behind a truck. It said, "Follow me to the next McDonald's." So I put the pedal to the metal. I caught up that driver. I yelled into his cab, "This way! I know a shortcut. Let's go!" And we got there, and they got old ladies working behind the counter at McDonald's, and this breaks my heart. Because when I go to McDonald's, I just want my fries. I don't want my fries and a story. Well, I don't need the extra money. It's just my son never comes to visit. I never see the grandkids, and I'm all alone, and I don't need the extra money. It's just my rotten son never comes to visit. All right, old lady, give me the fries. I'll bring the kids over Saturday, Mom. And there's one truck I see all the time when I'm driving around down Cincinnati. It says, on one side of the truck, it says Batesville Casket Company. And on the end, it says, "Please drive safely." Like that's any way to drum up business for a casket company. We could do better than that. Come on. Batesville Casket Company, 75 years in business, not one user complaint. Batesville Casket Company, if you can't see my mirrors, you'll be a customer soon. Batesville Casket Company, you're late. Pass me. It's clear on my side. Like that one too. That's all right. My wife is a 4-year breast cancer survivor. Well, thank you. I'll be sure to let her know she did the work. We're real proud of her. Back in July, my wife got a total knee replacement. And she's doing well in that too. That had nothing to do with the cancer. That was arthritis. But I'll tell you, I'm getting a new wife one body part at a time. Yeah, I hope something goes wrong with the vagina next. Maybe get an 18-year-old transplant or something. She blames me for both of her major medical problems there. I blame her for the breast cancer. When she got diagnosed with breast cancer, she got diagnosed with what they call stage 0, stage 1 breast cancer, which is the absolute earliest they could possibly diagnose her, and that's probably why she's doing so good in recovery. But she blames me for getting that diagnosis because I made her 10 minutes late to the appointment, and if I hadn't made her 10 minutes late, they probably would have diagnosed a chest cold instead of cancer. So that's my fault. She blames me for her knee, too, and I say that's ridiculous. She's Catholic. I've seen what they do at that church. Sit, kneel, pray, stand, shake hands. Sit, kneel, pray, shake hands. That would ruin anybody's knee. And she says, "Oh, no, that's got nothing to do with it. That's from kicking your ass when you're doing stupid shit." And I said, well, if you want to make that new one last a little longer, maybe you should stop kicking my ass when I'm down. And she said, "Oh, no, I'm Catholic. I have to do that." I had no idea what Catholic. We got married. I was raised a Baptist. She's Catholic. We got married. People thought it wasn't going to work. It wouldn't last. But it turns out we have so much in common. I was the youngest of 3 kids. She was the youngest of 3 kids. My father was an alcoholic. Her father was a good Catholic. Oh, yeah. Didn't know until I went to one of their Catholic softball, youth league softball games. Didn't know that a church key was a bottle opener. We used to get ours at the Sears store. Not our bottle openers, our keys, yeah. But that wasn't the end of her medical trouble. She still had to go in a test recently. And when the results came back, the doctor set us down and said, things are going to change for Donna. That's my wife, Donna. He said, Donna is going to have to start sleeping with a machine. I'm like, that's okay, Doc. She's got so many devices on her side of the bed, it's already like sleeping next to a Radio Shack Science Fair project. He says, no, this machine is going to help her sleep. And I said, Doc, come on. That's what she says about all her battery-operated boyfriends. And he says, no, you don't understand. This machine is going to pump air into her. And I'm like, ooh, Doc, she hates when I accidentally do that. But what are you going to do? Nature pours a vacuum, and I think she's got a Dyson up in that bitch. Turns out he was talking about this thing called a CPAP machine. It's a mask. She has to wear it on her face, and it's hooked up to a tube that goes to this machine that sits next to the side of it. It keeps her breathing all night long. This is a good thing for her. Did you know that if a person is properly wearing their CPAP mask, you cannot smother them with a pillow? 2.5 hours it took me to figure that one out. But we get home, and I got to get her to use this thing. That was doctor's order. And she goes, I'm not going to use that thing. And I'm like, what? You're being a typical woman? You're not going to wear the mask because you think it makes your ass look big? And she says, no, I'm not going to wear that because it's not cool. I'm like, right. So you think it's cool to lie in bed snoring so loud that drywall screws are falling out of the ceiling 3 trailers over. But anyone who's married knows I couldn't tell her that because she'd wake up in the middle of the night and cut my balls off. So I had to come up with something that would convince her to use that machine. I had to think of something to say that would make her use that CPAP machine. And finally it came to me. I'm like, honey, you know who else has a CPAP machine? You know who else has one? Darth Vader. And she's a huge Star Wars fan. So the first night, she's got the mask on. She's like, no, I'm not going to do it. Oh, just once, just for me? All right. Luke, I am your mother. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Now the most evil person in the universe has something in common with Darth Vader. I know, when I'm talking about vibrators, there's always some young man out there who's thinking, no woman of mine is ever going to use a vibrator. Well, here's a clue for you, young man, as you journey through life. If you reach for the television remote control and the AA batteries are missing, that's right. And if your AAA batteries go missing, your daughter uses one too. And if you go out to the car and it won't start because its battery's missing, your mother-in-law uses one too. Guys, you should know, ladies hate that word vibrator. Oh no, they call them their toys. They go to their fun party where they get their toys. They all got cutesy names like Jeffrey Giraffe and Danny Dolphin and Chocolate Thunder, Thunder, Thunder. My wife came home from one of these fun parties. I said, wouldn't you rather have a real man? She took out Danny Dolphin and went, eh. Yeah, guys, if ladies get to call vibrators toys, I think we should be allowed to call the blow-up dolls action figures. Right? Collect the whole series, blonde, redhead, Martian. Yeah, Martian. 3 titties and 9 vaginas. Now, I know what you're thinking. What are you going to do with 9 vaginas? Invite 8 friends over? No, that's not what you do. It's like in high school when they pass out that plastic thing right before you order your high school ring. You just pick the one that fits. That's right, ladies. You come in sizes 2, okay? Your secret is out. That's why you don't want us to date more than one of you at a time, because we might find out that you have a sloppy vajayjay. Take all my action figures, I'd dress them in Star Trek uniforms, we'd act out my favorite scenes, we'd be like, boom, 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 the Borg are invading, what shall we do, Captain Janeway? Time for a captain's log entry. Oh, that reminds me of the first time my wife and I ever did it. We were 16-year-olds, both of us, and we hadn't done anything yet. And we found ourselves all alone at her parents' house. So we start making out on the couch because, that's where we were in our relationship. And you should know I'm a huge Star Trek fan. She's a huge Star Wars fan. I've already mentioned that last part. But we started making out on the couch, and out of nowhere, she said, kiss me like Han Solo. I go, what? And she says, well, Han Solo is the best starship captain ever. And I say, that's wrong, young lady. The best starship captain is James T. Kirk. because James T. Kirk would never say he's got a ship that can make the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs, because Kirk knows that parsecs are a measure of distance, not time. Thank you for laughing. She did not appreciate that. Oh no, she got off that couch, she ran down the hallway, she went into her bedroom, she slammed her door, and I'm standing all alone in her family room, suddenly realizing that I had just blocked myself with science. There's nothing left for me to do. I was getting ready to leave, and I hear the sound of someone like packing a suitcase. So I yell into her room from the hallway. I go, "Hey, Boba Fett breath, how are you going to leave me at your parents' house?" When she walks out wearing this gorgeous slave bikini, just like Carrie Fisher in Return of the Jedi. Oh, I knew what was going on then. I knew it was about to happen. Oh, yeah, the ultimate in geek sex, yeah. Cosplay, live action role playing. That's right. She was Princess Leia. I was Jabba the Hutt. Oh, Jabba want to eat you out, Jabba do. So I made my move on her like she was the dessert bar at the Golden Corral Cafe. But she says, "Oh no, you've got to apologize." And I got indignant. I got angry. I said, "Young lady, this changes nothing. The best starship captain is still Han Solo." Now, we better hurry up because your parents are going to be here in less than 12 parsecs, so we don't have a lot of time. That's the geekiest joke you're ever going to hear. And I've been telling that at science fiction conventions and college campuses for years. And then one day, this skinny little dweeb, glasses thicker than mine. I didn't know they made glasses thicker than mine. I mean, can you see this? Can you see these? Because right now I can't. This little dweeb walks up, glasses thicker than mine. He goes, "You know, Ray, Einstein's theory of relativity proves that time and space are merely different dimensions of the same continuum. So when speaking of faster-than-light ships like the Millennium Falcon, there really is no difference between time and space." He was right. I had been out-geeked. There was nothing left for me to do but admit defeat in the presence of a superior mind. So I looked that little dweeb right in the eye, and I said, "Fuck you, nerd boy! I know what pussy tastes like, and so does Captain Kirk. Sure, some of it was green, but that's still some tasty crotch, okay? And the only thing Han Solo's ever tasted is a Wookiee's dick, and Luke wanted to do his sister, and that's just a weird form of relativity in any galaxy except maybe the galaxy of West Virginia." And that's why I'm standing in front of the Canadian flag doing comedy at the First Church of the Cannabis instead of at a nice science fiction convention someplace. They don't let you back in, no matter how much you pay. You guys have been great. It's been a perfect room for me because I have trouble with crowds. No, really, seriously, I get uncomfortable. I get nervous around crowds. It's getting so bad. I told my wife I think I might be a little autistic. She said, "Yes, you are. I took the test for you." Yeah. Is your husband autistic? There's an app for that now. Yeah. And it's got all kinds of little tips in it. So now she thinks she's my life coach. Because I'll be talking to somebody and she'll be way on the other side of the room coaching me. She'll be like, eye contact. Bitch, I'm on the phone. And then she arranges play dates for me with the other autistic husbands. Oh yeah, we sit in front of the TV and we not talk about our feelings. We'd be like any other guy, except instead of yelling at the ref for bad calls during the game, we're yelling at Sheldon for bad science during Big Bang Theory. That's my time. Thanks for listening, guys.
Oh yeah, keep it going for Ray Price. bridging the gaps in the space-time continuum, and now he's going to make his way to his TARDIS. We're now going to welcome yet another comedian to the stage. He's been with us before. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome for Joe Ostrowski.
Thank you. Scotty, you gonna beat me up?
Nope.
Pretty please?
No, the microconverter's bypassed like a Christmas tree. Just can't do it.
Okay then. Listen, I've been doing comedy for about a couple months now, and I've been asked, who are your favorite comedians that you look up to? I tell them, I'm sick. I can't. I missed the joke. Okay, I'll just skip it then. Listen, my favorite, I get guys telling me that the favorite comedians is Louis C.K., which is ridiculous because obviously if you're a nerd at comedy, you know that Bill Hicks or Lenny Bruce are the best. All right, my grandmother told me, why don't you look up, read the material of a great comedian like Bill Cosby? Yeah. It's really weird to read him and thinking, oh, there's why he's a rapist. Yeah. Anyway, when I was young, I went to the museum and I saw a slab of the Berlin Wall. And I thought, not impressed. A guy told me that this wall represented the symbol of the Cold War between communism and capitalism. I said, I thought it would be bigger. He says, well, it's not the size that counts, but it's a matter of how you use it. Of course, I said, I'm too young to understand that metaphor. But that would sound much better. I'm dying up here. All right. Let's see here. When I work at Meyer, when I got interviewed for the job, I had 3 interviews for the job, and it felt like a date. So at the end, the manager sent me to HR because I kissed the manager. Yeah. I used to work as a cashier. I would always ask customers, would you like to pay for that in cash, credit, or doubloons? Funny, one time a guy had an eye patch on. Yeah, I now work at the dairy department, and my family calls me the milkman. Of course, they should actually be calling me Mr. Freeze. I had one customer ask me, where are the free-range happy eggs are? I told them, sorry, we don't have them. We only have sad eggs. Wow, I am really blanking on time. Time flies when you're having fun. I'm not having fun. Wow. I think that's it. We can take it, Jerry?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, that's my time.
Joe Ostrowski. All right, we are once again going to keep things rolling right along here at the First Church of Cannabis. We missed him greatly when he was out of town. In fact, I was kind of inclined to go, dude, where's my archangel? Ladies and gentlemen, the archangel of the First Church of Cannabis, Mr. Jerry Gobal.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I feel like I could be blessing you from the Pope here. So I know why we're all here tonight, for real. Because of Alex Trebek. I suppose a lot of you internet people need to be caught up on what's going on. Alex Trebek was on one of his shows talking to one of the contestants, asked about her interests, and she said she liked nerdcore. He was confused. He asked what it was. So she elaborated, and she said it is things that people who like gaming culture or cosplaying, or pop culture like to listen to, like playing video games and stuff. And Alex Trebek said with a straight face, "Oh, losers." And then he backed off. And that's why we're here today, to kill Alex Trebek. This whole episode, internet, this is the viral video. This is how we do sleeper cell shit now. You have to understand. One of you must kill Alex Trebek. Hunt him, stalk him, and then at the very end, when you're about to blow his brains out, say, "And what are your final words?" Oh, I guess I did that wrong. You're supposed to ask it in the form of a question, right? Or answer in the form of a question. What is, no, don't shoot me in the face. Okay. For potpourri, for 100, it's the, what will you find in Alex Trebek's pants? Is it found in Alex Trebek's pants? See, it's a tricky game, this Jeopardy. That's why he's a wily motherfucker. He used to be a garbage man. Do you know that? A Canadian garbage man, the shiftiest of all garbage men. You know those Canucks, man. No border whatsoever. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. They know they're mostly white. They know it. Yeah, right. Yeah, you get the whole French thing in there. We're on to you, Canadians. Trebek, you're going to die. It's a lot of fun. I kind of felt like keeping the heart on for the whole night. It'd be like, I don't know if I can do that the whole night. It'd be like, my act. I'm really excited to be here. I don't know if... Oh, Mike Pence is a presidential candidate. Oh, my, look at that boner. Whoa. Ooh, Mike Pence, the alternative to, I don't know, man, suicide, maybe? I don't know. Two-party system is indeed a joke, folks. It is indeed a joke. Don't fall for it. Rebel. Start doing shit like taking out celebrities and people that represent the people that control you. This is your sleeper cell meeting. When a man comes up to you and says, "Mango Tango override," you will go out and kill the first celebrity you can find. Mango Tango override. Mango Tango override. See, that's two dead. That could be Ben Affleck. Somebody could have got rid of Ben Affleck for us and spared us the Batman movie again. They're going to do it. Ben's coming back. He's fat as fuck. Ben, quit. Quit, Ben. Don't ruin Batman for me. I got nothing. Alex Trebek says I'm a loser. So, had a comedy festival thing this last week. It was great. Got to learn a lot about clown porn. That's where I brought Sam in here as a specialist. We had discussed the clown porn option because obviously once clowns became dangerous, they automatically became desirable. Because it's the bad boy danger element of, really what it is. You see something threatening ladies, or you see a dude in a hot car, and you kind of, you'll open up to that a little bit. You go all talking crap about, nice guys, but let's face it, it's the bad boys you like. And clowns are bad boys as you can get. Big floppy feet all over the fucking place, just balloon animals, balloon penises. Look at this. This is how you keep an adult nerdcore guy busy for hours doing this. Yes, it's his show. That's why he can do this. So, in a few moments, when we pass the Kool-Aid out, Mango Tango override. So, I am upset Mike Pence hasn't returned any of my phone calls. And it was a very bad breakup when he left as governor. I really needed him here for emotional support, and he just decided he had different aspirations. And I won't be forgotten about, and that's really what this Alex Trebek thing is all about. I'm going to kill Alex Trebek to get Mike Pence's love back. That's what I'm going to do, Internet. I'm going to have to. I got to do something drastic. I'm up here holding my fake red penis on. You know what I'm talking about, Internet. You know, this is like Snapchat or something. You see this all the time. Or what's that one where it randomly flips by guys and their wangs hanging out? You know what I mean? That one. I'm a little old. I'm not up on the technology. I'm still trying to figure out what a Twitch is. I have them on occasion. You know, that makes me wonder. They're like, oh, have you seen them Twitch? And I'm like, oh. It's not video games. But I feel like I'm really fleek tonight. I'm very fleek. This is the fleekest show you will ever see, Internet. I am on fleek, like you would not believe. You familiar with the term on fleek? In-house crowd hostages? No, you don't. Of course you don't know what in fleek is because you're not as hip as I am. To be fleek is to be, it's a combination of flee and eek. And so it'd be flee, eek, you know, and actually, no, it's supposed to mean real cool, but I think mine sounds a lot better. You know, you go, oh, it's a clown, fleek! You know, it's not a cool clown, it's just a clown you should flee from. Unless you're hot for him. In which case, then we get back to clown porn. So I think it's very important that there are a room full of comedians here, that you guys become very aware of the fact that none of you can have sex with a clown as a comedian, because it will create mimes. That's how it happens. That's why mimes are so sad. They're always fighting against imaginary wins and stuff. That's a stand-up comic, really, is what that is. That's the bitter ironies. They're not really, you know, tragically cursed not to speak. I mean, it's the mulatto of the entertainment industry, is what that is. That's the mime, the poor mime. But clowns, clown porn, just sounds, I don't know, like there should be meringue in it. And I don't know how I feel about cosplay anymore when it comes to clown stuff. The clowns have become so hard edge. I remember Bozo the Clown. Now he was kind of hot, but you definitely think he was kind of metrosexual for a clown. You know what I mean? He had the flare bell-bottom pants, which were pretty hip and happening in the 70s. Meant he did a lot of coke, but with a nose like that, right? And I would know. Toot toot. Okay. So, ephedrine, huh? So here's the thing. Here's something crazy. If you get ephedrine, you can buy it and you can get it in the bottle from the pharmacy for about $20, and then they can give you like a syringe that they have to prescribe to you because you can't get found with a syringe or otherwise, you know, it's illegal and stuff. So you can get that for like $30 roughly, or you could spend $600 on an EpiPen. How's that for funny? You know, and again, it's easy to make the stuff. You just have to shoot it like a diabetic would, you know. Done, $30. But now it's $600 for an EpiPen. And you look at these fucking things. Okay, I've had 2 experiences with EpiPens, and they both ended badly. One of them, I was fucking around with it, and I shot it on the wall. Because I wanted to figure out what the trigger was, because they were like, oh, you just stab it in your thigh. You stab it in your thigh, because you're probably too big a pussy to mainline it. Just do it in the thigh, you pussy! Do it in the thigh! And you know, so I'm looking at it, and I just shoot it all over the wall, and I'm like, oh my God. You know, this is, of course, while I'm going through anaphylactic shock kind of thing. Just ate a cookie with some nuts in it, because, you know, I'm that homophobic. And isn't that what causes it? Or, I'm sorry, maybe it was some chemical thing that DuPont or Monsanto put on me. I don't know, my allergies. But I'm like going through the thing. And of course, the problem with me is I'm more curious about things than I am about my own personal safety. You know, when things are going bad, I'm watching it going, ooh, this could be, wait a minute, what is this? What's going on? What's going on here? You choking to death? Here's your EpiPen. What do you know? How does this work? What's the trigger mechanism on this? How does this work? What does it inject through? Where do you get the stuff? And it's shot it on the wall. Man, just like my sex life. All these years. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's on the wall. And then my first reaction is I should just lick it. You know, I mean, it's lick it off the wall. Lick the ephedrine like a fear and loathing sucking on Johnny Depp's wrists, you know, trying to get acid on. I'm choking, because I don't know how to work a $600 EpiPen. And then you look at the EpiPen, and of course we had one extra one, and I fucked it up. I shot it in my thigh and through my pocket because I had a whole bunch of shit, and I was kind of pussying out, so Janet was kind of making it happen. And she, bam! Just right in the thigh. And it was like $1,200 I blew in the course of just one anaphylactic fit. I'm like, holy shit, that's crazy. When I could have got it done for $30. So, anyway, just think about that when you're serving me desserts. So, when I come to your house and you're feeding me because I'm a beggar, because that's the way it works these days, and you'll give me stuff, and of course it'll eventually come to dessert time, and you'll say cookies, and I won't think twice about it, and I'll just eat it, and then you'll have to trach me on the floor in your trailer or whatever, wherever we're at. I don't know what we're living in when we're eating the food you're going to give me. Yeah, that'd be awkward. So just, it's easier for you just to take the precaution of getting rid of all the nuts so I don't have to worry about it. Is that okay? It's not funny. It's just the way it's going to be. I run this fucking show. Have you people been listening to me? I'm in. Dun, 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 and that's right about the time. He's done. He's out of here. No, he's got 6 more minutes, and he's going to do this, by God. They all told him to quit. And they were all correct. Oh, thanks, Scotty's got his noise machine. Thanks for the crickets. I appreciate that. That's the sound of the saddest man in the world right there. Got your cricket machine at home. You jerk off to that? Sounds like you need more lube. Or a looser grip. You got to be careful. Too tight of a grip can cause a lot of personal injury. That's the other thing that this show likes to provide is a lot of educational and helpful tips. So kids, if you're out there rubbing one out, really it's very important that you think about grip and finger placement. It's very important. It's just one of those things that I know growing up, you don't want to talk about it, but years later when you've got huge calluses on it and you can't come, you're going to say, gee, I wish I'd have listened to Jerry Goebel. See, there we go. There we go. Do another sound effect, Scotty. That helps.
Stop.
Can you do that? I like that. Thank you. All right, that's just like my boner every time you do that. There we go. Where's my dick? Hang on. If you can't have any social contents, come on. Hey, here's what we're gonna do, Scotty, okay? Because this fucking noise machine thing is getting out of control. I'm gonna conduct you with my penis here. So okay.
You mean we're smoking?
Come on, Cheech, get with it. Come on, man. Do you have some Hendrix? Do you have any? No, you don't. Do you have any guitar solos? You got 2 sounds. Does he have material? He did. Years ago.
You mean we're smoking dog shit, man?
Thanks, Scotty. Da, da, da. No, go again. There we go. Oh, you got only 4 sound effects back there, don't you? No, you don't. Scotty's got a house that's laid out like a Star Trek Enterprise ship, where he's got all of his doors, his bathroom doors slide open and shut and make noises whenever you're going anywhere. Just putting that out there, ladies.
It's true. It's true.
It's true. Just when you thought you couldn't be any more of a shut-in, you meet a man who builds the Enterprise in his basement. His whole house is the Enterprise. I wish I had that dedication. I don't. All I had was Star Wars, and I live in a split level. It's not tall. I can't do the Death Star. You can't do swinging platforms to go from because you want dramatic exits to your bedroom. You can't do it. It's not possible. Star Trek thing's a lot easier. You're a self-contained ship. Maybe if I did the Millennium Falcon and had smuggling passages in my house, that might make a difference. It might. Might make a difference.
Don't fuck with me, fellas!
Okay. I can't exactly hear what that is. Go ahead, do it again. Wait, this is Alex fucking Trebek doing this, isn't it? You cocksucker. I knew you were out there, Alex. You shifty Canadian garbage man, you piece of shit. Oh, by the way, this is on Indiana Talks Radio. So I'd like to thank our progressive friends for helping us progress to Alex Trebek's inevitable death. I would think that's important that we keep our focus here and not get distracted by balloons and the fact that my ADD is worse than it's ever been. Tonight has been a great night for ADD. It is. It's the best night ever. You say, Jerry, why do you do it? And I'll say, I have no fucking clue why tonight. I know. It's a universal truth, and it's not funny, but it's true. Why do you do it? I'll tell you why I do it. Because I'm desperately needy for attention. And I felt, I should just go out and build a church I could do a show at. And then I started thinking, well, that's the kind of shit that got Moses in trouble. And you go, yeah, but Moses wasn't a comic. His commandments sucked. I mean, it was the top 10 list, seriously? That's the best you could do? Letterman's worst is better than that. That's you fucking fool me with this top 10 crap, Savior, Lord, Moses, whatever. I'm funnier. My church and my religion will be obviously a lot better, right? None of you are going home. I'm just letting you know that. Nobody goes home tonight. This is the Jerry Goebel compound final. We had a Waco joke earlier. I think that was Ray's. We'll do a theme out in the neighborhood. The neighbors have been wanting to see this place burned down anyway, so it kind of works out.
Jerry, did you show them the basement?
No, I haven't shown them the basement yet.
Wait for the basement tour, guys.
You've been a lot of help tonight, Scotty. You've been a lot of help tonight. I'd like to thank you for taking all those pauses where I used to think of things and make me confused. That's there we are. That's the fart I've been holding in all night. Now that I've relaxed a little bit and it doesn't matter as much, Indiana Talks Radio Network, I'd really like to apologize for that last blast. You don't deserve it. Yes, you do. You're back in Hillary. All I'd like to say is vote Jill Stein. Bernie's not a write-in in Indiana. So live long and prosper, and may the force be with you. And I don't know, maybe choke on a dick if you don't. Anyway, that's my time. Thank you guys for coming out, supporting comedy. And we'll see you next week. Bye.